Hello everyone, Shaunak here from Indomitable Tech on to video number 4 in our Python for non-coders. So in this particular video, we'll be focusing on operators and conditional statements. So in operators, we'll be focusing on arithmetic operators, comparison operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, membership operators. So apart from that, in conditional statements, we will be focusing on if, elif and else. Now moving on to operators. First one, we will be checking arithmetic operators. So addition, we use this plus symbol. Very simple really, the same thing which you do in mathematics. So let's say you have two integers or float, basically two numbers. Let's say 10 plus 20.67, and this will give addition as 30.67. Similarly, if you use it for, let's say, ABC plus GHJ, this will give you ABCGHJ. So basically it just concatenates the string. Then for subtraction, let's say you have 100 minus 55.67, it will give 44.33. And if this works on string, ASDEGH minus ASD, it does not work because it is not supported, it gives an error. So basically plus concatenates the string but minus does not work. Multiplication, this works on string as well as number. So 3 multiplied by 6, this gives 18. Also if you do this on string, let's say ABC, and multiply this 2 times, it will give ABC 2 times, ABC ABC. Similarly if you do this, let's say 6 times, it will give 6 times ABC ABC ABC. Then if you use star 2 times, it will be considered as raised to that particular power, like 2 raised to 3, this should give 8. And similarly 7 raised to 2, this will give 49. Division, so floating division, so let's say 6 divided by 3 will give 2. And floor division, let's say 100 divided by 7. So for floating, we use forward slash 2 times, so this gives 14. So this will not give it in terms of a float, it will give it in terms of integer. So this will give, this is called floor division. Modulus will give the remainder, so 100 percentage 7, so this will give modulus. So 7 multiplied by 14, this gives 98, and the remainder is 2, so modulus gives the remainder as 2. Now moving on to comparison operators. So this is considered as less than. So for operators, we will see how this works. So 7 is less than 10, this should give as true because 7 is less than 10. The places where you make use of this comparison operators is when you put if statements, where you have to give a particular condition, like if statement, also in while loops, where you give a particular condition after the while loop. So 7 less than 10, and if you use greater than, the same thing, 7 greater than 10, this will give false. Is equal to, let's say you have two variables, a equal to 10 and b equal to 10, and if you say a equal to b, then it will give as true. And if you have c as 5, and if you say a equal to c, it will give false. So basically again this will be used where you have to give a condition and then write a code based upon that particular condition. Not equal to, similar to ABC above, if I just copy paste it here, a equal to 10, b equal to 10, c equal to 5, and if I want to see if a is not equal to c, it will give true, and if I say if a is not equal to b, it will give false. Now then less than or equal to, so it is similar to less than, but here equal to is also made use of. So again let us make use of the same thing, a, b and c, and if a is less than or equal to c, it will give false. If a is less than or equal to b, it will give true, because equal to is also used over here. So this particular condition is satisfied, but this is not satisfied as a is equal to b. Similarly, for greater than or equal to, if I make use of a greater than c, then it will give true, because a is 10, so 10 is greater than 5, but it is not equal to, a is not equal to c, so this is not considered, this is not satisfied, but this greater than is satisfied. So greater than or equal to, so this will be correct as long as c's value is 10 or less than 10. So if we say if c's value is 15 and then execute it, it will give false, because a is not greater than or equal to c. Next one, logical operators. So for this, let us create two elements, el1 equal to, let's create a list of 1, 2, 3 and 4, and el2, let's create this as 3, 4, 5, 6, and let us write in a loop where for number in range 10, and here I will give the condition if number in el2 and number in el1 and number in el2, then print that number. So print number. So what I am saying is, if number is in this particular list and if the number is in this particular list, so I am looping it over. So loops I will be covering in the next lecture, next video. So for the time being, just know that this for loop will start with 0 and end with 9, because range starts with 0 and ends with 9. So I have passed in 10 over here, so range will be up to 10 but not 10, so it will start from 0 and end with 9. So just consider that we are taking number from 0 to 9 one after the other, and we will be checking whether that particular number falls in this particular list, then we will print that number, and also that that same number should fall in this particular list as well. So basically that number should be present in both these two lists. So if I execute this, we are getting only 3 and 4, because from 0 to 9 only 3 and 4 are appearing in both these lists. So this is how the AND operator works. OR operator similar to AND. So let me just copy this, copying the exactly the same thing. Only thing is I am removing and replacing it with OR. So numbers from 0 to 9, it should either be present in this list or this list. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, 6. So this should appear because these numbers are appearing in either of these two lists. So let me execute it. And the same thing here, not. So if number not in this list and number not in this list, so I am going to choose the numbers which are not appearing in both these two lists. So this is how not operator works. So let me execute it. So 0, since our loop is starting from 0, so 0 is not appearing in either of these two lists. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are appearing. and then 7, 8, 9 are not appearing, so it is only printing these 4 numbers which are not appearing in these two lists. So this is how and, or, and not operators will appear. So this is just for demonstration purpose. Once you start working with Python code, you will start making more use of these conditional statements, and you will grow more comfortable with making use of these operators. Then bitwise operators. So and, or, and not are replaced by these symbols and, or, and not in bitwise operators. So let me copy the same thing, and instead of and, I'll be making use of this and I'll remove this not, and I have to enclose this in loop for it to work. If both are true, then it will print the number 3 and 4. So 3 and 4 are present in both these lists. Similarly, if I replace this, let me just copy the same thing as and as above, and I am just going to replace this and with /. So if number is present in either, sorry, my bad, it should be pipe. So since I have commented it out, so that's why it is appearing as slash, but it is a pipe operator. So let me execute this. So it is giving the contents of both these lists, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are present in our two lists, EL1 and EL2. The next one in bitwise operator is the not operator. So it basically inverts whatever value you have given. So for example, if a equal to 1 and if you print not a, it will give -2. Similarly, what is the logic behind it? So bitwise inverse operators, so I have never used it. Also down the line, if you are going to work with data analysis, so this inversion or not operator is going to come in handy when you are going to put in some conditions, and you won't be using it a lot, but how to use it, or this particular thing exists in Python, so it's good to just know it, that you have this bitwise operator. The most frequently you will be making use of is this pipe and operator. So and or, so these two things you will be making use of the most when you are working with data analysis and data science. Then next one is membership operators. So in and not in. So let us refer both these two lists. So let us refer only this one list, that is EL1, which has the numbers 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if I want to see if our list contains 1, so 1 in EL1, it should return as true, because 1 is present in this particular list, and if I say 11, it should give false. And not in, so again the same thing, EL1, and if I want to see if 11 not in EL1, it should give true, and if I say if 1 not in EL1, it should give false, because 1 is in fact present in our list. So this is membership operators. It tells whether the given item is present in that particular collection of data type, that is either in list, tuple or set or dictionary. Next one, conditional statement. So if else elif. So if, let's say, again let us consider these two lists and let us type in the if statement. So if 2, let me just remove this EL2 list. So we have only one list over here. So EL1 is the list, and let us see if 2 in EL1, So in is membership operator, which we just saw over here. So if 2 is present in our list, print present. So it will print this particular string present. So if 2 is in the list, it will say present. So since 2 is present, it is satisfying this particular condition and it is printing the present. After that, let's say if 22 in the list, it will not print anything because this condition is not satisfied. Next one is else. So copying the same thing, if 22 in el underscore 1, so if 22 is present in this, print present. If it is not present, type in here is the thing where else comes into play. So if 22 is present in the list, then print present. If it is not present, print absent. So executing this, it is giving us absent. Earlier, since we did not make use of else, it was not printing anything. Now it is printing absent because we have entered this else. So this was our list. If 22 is present, it should print present. If it is not, then it should print absent. So it is printing absent. The last part of conditional statements is using the elif. So elif is basically if you want to include more than one conditions in your code, so at that time elif can be used. So if will be followed by elif and it will be preceded by else. So it will be basically if this particular condition, then this. If not, use this particular condition, elif condition, then this. If not, then ultimately use the else. So for example purpose, let us create a number. So that number we can keep it 10 for the time being, and then let's say if number is divisible, that is if the remainder is 0 by 2, if this is equal to 0, then print divisible by 2, then elif if number divisible by 3 equal to 0, print divisible by 3. Similarly, elif number by 5 equal to let's say 7 equal to 0, then we'll print divisible by 7. Else we will print number not divisible by 2, 3, 7. Okay, so since our first number was 10, it is divisible by 2, so it is saying divisible by 2. And let me change 10 to let's say 9, so it should say divisible by 3. This condition was not met, but this condition was met, so it is giving divisible by 3. Then the next thing, so 7, let's give it 7, so 7 should be divisible by 7. It is giving 0, so divisible by 7, because if I multiply 7 by 2, 3, so it will be fulfilling the first two conditions. That's why I gave the number as 7. So this is not fulfilling the first two conditions, but it is fulfilling the third condition. And let us give this as 25. So 25, it will not fulfill any of the first three conditions, so it will print out the third one. So after executing it, we are getting number not divisible by 2, 3, 7, because 25 is not divisible by 2 or 3 or 7. So that's all for this video. Let us recap what we saw in this particular video. So we checked what arithmetic operators are, what comparison operators are, logical operators are, bitwise operators, and membership operators. After that we saw conditional statements, if, else, and elif. And operators, we saw addition, subtraction. So subtraction doesn't work on string, but addition does. Similarly, multiplication also works on string. And raised to the power, we use double asterisk for that. Then division, float, and floor division you use double forward slash. For division you use only single forward slash. And modulus gives you the remainder, for that you use percentage. Then comparison operators, less than, greater than. Basically it gives either true or false, whether it is greater than or less than. Similarly, greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. So you use less than symbol and equal to, and greater than symbol and equal to. After that we also saw is equal to and not equal to. For that, if you want to see is equal to, that checks the two values and tells whether it is equal or not. If it gives true, then it is equal to, or if it gives false, that means it is not equal to. So single equal to means you are assigning a value to that particular variable. So that's the reason you have to make use of double equal to check whether it is equal to or not. Similarly, not equal to, you use exclamation mark and equal to. So A not equal to B, if both the values are not equal, it will give true. If both the values are equal, then it will give if both the values are equal, it will give false if you are making use of not equal to. Then logical operators, so and it needs to satisfy both the conditions if you are making use of and. If you are using or, it should satisfy either of the two conditions. So it does not mean only two conditions need to be entered. You can use more than two conditions depending upon and or. So basically for and, all the conditions need to be met, and for or, either of the conditions needs to be met. And not means it will negate both the conditions. So in our example we saw if number is not in this list, and the number should not be in this list as well, and it gave the other numbers which were in our loop. This was for not operator. Bitwise is similar to logical operators. Instead of and we use this ampersand symbol. Instead of or, we use this pipe symbol, which is a vertical bar. And for negation, that is not, we use this tilde symbol. For membership operators, it tells whether the given item is present in that particular data object or not. We saw this in our list example. So 11 was not in this particular list, so after typing in 11 in our list variable, so it gave false because 11 is not in our list. And not in, if you use insert not in this particular in, so 11 not in our list variable, it is giving true because 11 is not present in our list. Then conditional statement, if, else, and elif. If it satisfies the condition, it will proceed on with the code. If it does not satisfy the condition, it will go on to what's next in the code. So in else, if the one condition is not satisfied, it will give the code which we have written after else. So if this does not satisfies, go on to the next line, code line. So elif is if you want to add more conditions before the else clause, you can use elif. So if this fails, go on to the next condition. If this fails, go on to the next condition. If this fails, ultimately go on to the else clause. So that's all for this particular video. I hope you learned something new, and the most important thing that you should do while learning is code yourself, practice more, search on Google about the concepts that you see in this video. I'm just here to help. And the most important thing, like I said before, is for you to code yourself and practice more. That's all for this particular video. This was Shaunak Deshpande helping you out with a little bit of Python basics. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.